My insane coworker uninvited me from my wedding because I'm gay, then demanded I house sit for a month while he goes on his honeymoon. I refused, so he started harassing me at work and tried to break into my house. I've been friends with my coworker John for almost 10 years now, but because I'm gay, I wasn't invited to his wedding. When I found out, I asked him if there was a mistake with the invites, but he said it was his fiance's decision. She doesn't want my kind attending the wedding. Apparently, her parents are homophobic and would not be afraid to cause a scene because a gay person is at the wedding. I was visibly upset when he said this, but he put his arm around me and said he wanted to remain friends. He didn't speak another word to me until after the wedding, when he randomly called. He told me he needed a favor. Him and his wife were going on their month-long honeymoon and needed someone to visit their house twice a day to take care of their cat. I responded saying there was no way I'd do that for him after he showed me what our friendship meant to me, and that's when he went off on me. He was drunk when he said this, so I kinda forgive him, but he called me a slur and told me I would suffer in purgatory for my sins. He's religious. I hung up on him, but he called me again the next day, begging me to care for the house while they're gone. Apparently if I don't do it, nobody will, which means their honeymoon will be cancelled, and that'll be $15,000 down the drain. John's wife's voice came through the phone, sharper now. You don't understand what you're doing to us. John is a wreck because of this. He can't sleep, can't eat. You're going to ruin his career if this stress keeps up. I closed my eyes, trying to keep calm. I'm not ruining anything. I'm just not taking responsibility for something that isn't my problem. It is your problem, she insisted. You were his friend for a decade. You think you can just throw that away over one little disagreement? One little disagreement? I repeated, incredulous. You excluded me from his wedding because of who I am. That's not a little disagreement. That's you making it clear you don't see me as an equal, as someone worthy of basic respect. She sighed heavily. Look, I get it. You're upset, but the wedding's over. It's in the past. Can't we just move on? I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. I'm not the one who needs to move on. I'm fine where I am. You're unbelievable, she said, her voice tight with frustration. Do you know what it's like to have your entire life's happiness hinge on one person's decision? To have everything you've ever planned come crashing down because of one stubborn person? Yes, I said quietly. I do. She was silent for a moment, and I wondered if she'd finally understood. But then she spoke again, her voice icy. Fine, be that way. But don't be surprised when you have no friends left. People talk, and you're not exactly making yourself look good. The line went dead before I could respond. I set the phone down, my hands shaking. I knew I was doing the right thing by standing up for myself, but that didn't make it any easier. I felt isolated, like I was alone in a room full of people who couldn't or wouldn't see my side. Over the next few weeks, things continued to escalate. Every few days, I'd find something new on my desk. More Bible verses, nasty notes scribbled on post-it pads, even a small rainbow flag that had been slashed through with a knife. It was surreal, like I was living in some kind of twisted movie where everyone had turned against me. I kept going to HR, reporting each incident, but they didn't seem to take it seriously. It's probably just a joke, one of the HR reps said dismissively when I showed her the shredded flag. You know how people can be. I didn't bother trying to explain that it wasn't a joke to me, that it felt like a threat. Instead, I started documenting everything myself. I took pictures of the notes, kept a log of every conversation I had with HR. Every time John or his wife tried to contact me, it felt paranoid, but I needed to protect myself. I couldn't trust anyone else to do it. One evening, after a particularly rough day at work, I came home to find my front door ajar. I froze on the threshold, my heart pounding. I knew I'd locked it when I left that morning. Slowly, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The living room was in chaos. Furniture was overturned, papers strewn everywhere, and a large, ugly slur was spray painted across the wall. I backed out of the house, my hands shaking as I fumbled for my phone. I dialed 911, trying to keep my voice steady as I explained what had happened. The dispatcher assured me that officers were on their way, but it felt like an eternity before I saw the flashing lights of a patrol car pull up to the